The suspicious noises during Taehyung's last live, which was at no less than 6 a.m., left everyone who watched it completely intrigued. Throughout the live, Taehyung's expression was so gentle, but at the same time, his constant glances in different directions screamed something many of us suspected: Jungkook was there. Even though he tried to remain calm, it was more than obvious that his presence was felt in every little gesture. The way Taehyung gave himself away, repeatedly averting his eyes as if trying to make sure of something or someone he didn't want to show on camera, was too obvious a clue to ignore. The most striking moment was when Taehyung calmly got up, saying he was going to get some water. That seemingly normal walk turned into even more compelling evidence. Right at that moment, a noise was heard, like a door closing twice. That small detail sounded so clear in the broadcast that it was impossible to ignore. Added to this was the faint but unmistakable sound of a zipper, something Taehyung couldn't completely hide, because as soon as it happened, his eyes traveled in the direction the noise was coming from. And the strangest thing is that we don't mind them playing with us, because deep down we know they're always together, even if we have no way to officially prove it. The way one betrays the other's presence, even when they try to act normal, becomes the sweetest and most desperate evidence at the same time. It's not the first time it happens, and it surely won't be the last, but each occasion is a gift for those of us who have followed their story for so many years. Another unforgettable moment was during Jungkook's livestream, when a video of Taehyung suddenly started playing. Jungkook's reaction was immediate: that cute panic, that sudden rush to stop it, that clumsy yet urgent movement, like someone who has been accidentally discovered. His smile, as adorable as it was telltale, seemed to say, "Oh, you caught me," and in that second, everyone watching felt the same connection. It was as if he himself wordlessly confirmed what many of us suspect every day. That moment was pure gold, a memory etched in the collective memory of fans and reaffirmed the unbreakable connection that unites them. The Taekooks are simply adorable, and the most beautiful thing of all is the way in which, after so many years, they continue to love each other with that naturalness that transcends the screen. They have given us so many precious moments, both in their public lives and in those small glimpses of reality that escape during live broadcasts, which have become a symbol of affection and connection that none of us can forget. I miss them so much, and I know you miss them too. There is a shared nostalgia, a deep desire to see them together again, laughing, looking at each other, sharing that unique energy that only they know how to transmit. The KDHs have proven once again that they're no better than the Jungkooks, and that, contrary to what they try to pretend, they suffer from an obvious Taekook phobia, and even more pronounced, a Jungkook phobia that betrays them in every word and every action. They're the first to disguise their hatred with supposedly objective criticism, but behind it all lies an irrational contempt for the most real and solid relationship, that of Taehyung and Jungkook. Because it's enough to observe them a little to notice how the clowns and some Taehyung anti-fans wait for any opportunity to divert attention, and as soon as someone approaches him, they desperately rush to invent a new ship. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man, their motto is to drag Taehyung from one side to the other, changing the narrative as it suits them, as if he were a simple accessory to their fantasies. Today they proclaim him heterosexual, tomorrow they declare him gay, the day after tomorrow they pair him with someone else, but they never accept what they've had right in front of them all this time, their true partner, their only love, Jungkook. And this is where the greatest contradiction is revealed. The KTHs who complain so much, the same ones who blame Taehyung for the hate he receives, are actually the first to throw him under the bus, ruin his image, and take advantage of any excuse to sow doubt about him. Their discourse falls apart because it's incoherent, because when it comes to defending Taehyung against harmful narratives, they disappear or, worse, join the chorus of those attacking him. Once again, as if they lacked creativity, they started the same old song with a new voice. Now they pretend to insist on a supposed romantic connection with Bogum, all for a simple gesture of support for an old friend. Friendship is one thing, and love is quite another. The first manifests itself in occasional support, in gestures of camaraderie, in the celebration of others' success. Love is revealed in perseverance, in years, in repeated actions, in looks that don't lie. True love isn't improvised with a social media interaction, nor is it invented with a random shared photo. Love is built day by day and is reflected in body language that's impossible to fake. And that's what Taehyung has tirelessly demonstrated for all these years toward one person, Jungkook. However, the jokers who put together this whole spectacle have no problem accepting the sight of Taehyung with anyone, absolutely anyone, except Jungkook. And that's the real point, the hypocrisy. Because if they were truly Taehyung's fans, if they genuinely loved him, if they supported and appreciated him as they so loudly proclaim, they would have no difficulty respecting and accepting what is obvious, that the only one who occupies his heart, the only one Taehyung loves and wants, is Jungkook. But no, they prefer to hide the sun with a finger, construct lies that crumble on their own, and pretend they don't understand the obvious. And this is where it all gets interesting. The more they try to deny what is real, the more they reveal their obsession. It's not Taehyung who changes, it's not Jungkook who doubts, it's them who can't bear to see that the truth doesn't fit their fantasies. Time, evidence, and gestures speak for themselves. And in the end, it will always be clear who has been the absolute owner of Taehyung's heart, Jungkook, his true and only love. There are many people who might interpret this as a simple game, as if everything we see was carefully planned to give an illusion, but the truth is that when we calmly observe how they look at each other, how they seek each other out even in the middle of a crowd, how they touch each other with that naturalness that seems beyond any control, the idea that it's just a show completely collapses. We are not faced with a rehearsed script or a superficial performance. What is revealed before our eyes is an emotional reality so intense that it is impossible to hide. Taekook doesn't need to speak words to express what they feel, they speak with their eyes, with small gestures that go unnoticed by some, with caresses that arise spontaneously, and with a connection that pierces the silence. And the most interesting thing is that, if you stop to observe a little more, you discover that every tiny detail hides a silent declaration of love. The Taekooks are simply adorable, and this is not due to mere aesthetics or appearance, but because they convey a genuine tenderness that transcends the screen. After so many years together, far from burning out or losing its spark, their connection remains alive, vibrant, fresh, as if they choose each other again every day without needing to say so. This constancy is what makes them so special. These aren't isolated moments, but a continuity that testifies to the strength of their bond. And here an inevitable question arises: how is it possible that after so much time, in such a demanding and exposed environment, they continue to share perspectives that seem uniquely theirs? The answer lies in the naturalness with which they allow themselves to be themselves, without filters, without proving anything to anyone, simply being present for each other. They have given us so many precious moments that it's difficult to count them all. Sometimes they appear in their public lives, on a brightly lit stage surrounded by thousands of people. Other times they filter through in those small glimpses that escape during live broadcasts or in spaces where they should be more neutral, but end up revealing what they feel without even realizing it. Those moments, which at first glance seem insignificant, become indelible memories for those who observe them, silent proof of an affection that needs no explanation. And the most curious thing is that, even if they try to hide it or even if others want to deny the evidence, a gesture, a glance, a shared smile always appears that once again confirms what we already know, that their connection is authentic and powerful. The relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook needs no labels, because no name can encompass everything they represent. They don't act as if they need to convince anyone, they do it in the way they care for each other, in the way they accompany each other, in those small acts of attention that often go unnoticed by others. And the surprising thing is that, no matter how hard they try to contain it, they always end up giving us more proof that their relationship goes beyond the obvious. Every touch of hands, every lingering glance, every shared smile is a reminder that there is something strong between them, something that can be felt even without words. And perhaps that's Taekook's magic. They don't need to explain themselves, they don't need to announce anything, because they already say it all in the way they look at each other. In the end, what unites Taehyung and Jungkook is so real and so deep that it transcends any scenario, any rumor, and any doubt, becoming a bond impossible to ignore.